13th of May. Fire safety evacuation procedure recording protocol. We've been through those fire escapes even at the Hollies, and this meeting has been recorded by Sean. Okay with that? Good. Item number 1, public question time, up to 20 minutes. So do we have any public?
I didn't have a question. I want to say thank you to all of you because you volunteers. So thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's appreciated from someone who does so much volunteering as well.
Item number 2, apologies.
Mike.
Declarations of interest. 1, 2, 3. Any declaration of requests or grant any requests? None. No. 4, comes further previous minutes. So, people happy with the previous minutes? Any issues arising? Well,
That's the one on 8.
that's the 8.
And that's the gentleman.
Oh, I changed that one. Okay. So, we're going to
Sign and date each page.
Did you officially approve them?
Well, I've asked if anybody's got any.
And there wasn't any. Nobody said anything.
I think you have to approve them. You have to say that we have approved the minutes. It's a resolution.
All individually.
Not every individual minute, thankfully. No.
So, really,
So there's a lot of signing.
two
That one?
individual.
But that's still got draft on it, that one. That side. Thank you very much.
Okay, good. Item number 5 then, work at West Clewes. Proposal to accept the quote to install an aerated grid at West Clewes for either £5,988 and 44 pence plus VAT, or £6,510 plus 65 pence VAT, or lay gravel for £100. So they all do the same job, do they?
There's 2 questions too.
What's the? Sorry, go on.
The first one is what's the difference between the different quotes? Second question, who's the proposal from? That's 2 big questions.
This has come from a member of the public. This has been brought up at a couple of meetings at a member of the public to the grounds of West Clewes. Obviously during the winter it gets muddy, and they've requested whether the council would consider putting an aerated grid down for the public. So you've just gone out for quotes and bought it, and whether the council,
So members of the public can just put things directly onto the agenda
if they come to us, yeah.
for council.
Anybody, yeah.
I don't think this is. What I would suggest is that obviously this West Clewes is going to be under the remit of the Recreational Trust. So
we are responsible for that area.
Oh, I thought it was owned by the Recreational Trust.
The council maintain it.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So, Sean, just got a point first.
Sorry, I was just going to say, it seems to me that looking at the vast differences in prices between the gravel and the aerated grid, and the fact that it's not on we've not included this within a budget for this year, my suggestion would be that we go with the £100 gravel and put provision in next year's budgets so that we have a provision for it should we need it. But it means we don't have to worry about trying to find the money from this year's budget where it hasn't been budgeted for.
I agree. I agree. Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
I thought an aerated grid, I thought it was a pathway. I thought it was something you'd walk over. Am I being completely wrong?
I think, I may be completely wrong, I think it's like a mesh,
Yeah.
and the grass grows through it.
Yeah.
But that's big enough.
Can't
Yes.
be 6
No,
round. So
yeah.
And also, because the first option is fill with topsoil and seed. So that's not. Okay, I'm confused. We'll get £100 one, obviously. It's a no-brainer, I think. Let's try that first.
Yeah, okay.
So do you know which member of the public this was? Or is it like an anonymous request? It seems just quite.
No, somebody who comes to every meeting.
Right.
Andy Gregory requested it from the...
Sometime,
Yeah,
yeah.
she's mentioned it several
She
times.
said that.
I had no idea members of the public could propose motions. Okay, thank you. Just to let you know that.
Right, so we've been proposed by Sean and seconded by Linda,
Yeah,
and we're going to vote on the £100
Yeah.
Look at that.
solution. Okay. Number 6, strategy day. Proposed to appoint a consultant to work alongside the council for a day to write a town council strategies.
Yeah, so you've only got one company there. You are going to discuss this later under the closed session, but company B, I don't know how to put this without. Company B would, if you appointed company B as a local, they would do it in their remit as well. That's how I put it, obviously, because actually you are discussing that.
So is this just agreeing principle that we want to do this, is it? This point here, then? Is it just...
No, it's appointing somebody. So we've got
Actually,
one.
actually do a strategy day.
Have we agreed to have a strategy day?
Well, no, this is, if you want to do, if you would like to do one, it is highly recommended by somebody that you do one,
Yeah.
and to set it, the strategy day in motion.
Yeah.
Well,
The proposal to
So hang on, this proposal to appoint a consultant, but then later on in confidential we'll choose the consultant. Is that what
No,
we're
this
saying?
is for the strategy day.
Yeah, so the proposal is to appoint a consultant for the strategy, but later in the agenda we'll choose which consultant.
No. This is. I've only had one price for the strategy day, which is in front of you. The other company said that it would be done. You can decide and go with this one, or if you appointed a local later on, they would do it as part of their remit. So that it is slightly complicated, because I only had the second quote through this morning. But you've only had one strategy day back. Although we went out to 4.
Okay, went out to 4.
Yeah, so I'm massively for sort of strategy formation in whatever way that comes about. It's just the wording of that in terms of proposal to appoint a consultant to work alongside the council for a day to write a town strategy. I feel that, I'm not sure, it's not covered by this remit effectively, but I feel that there's some form of public consultation that should feed into any strategy that we do.
But that would come afterwards.
So that's what I'm asking, is essentially would that be like the strategy day might form the basis of what happens next?
So
It's in there, note 4, consulting with the public.
Sorry, I haven't got the right page up. No, so that's part of.
Big quote.
I've read those ones, but
So strategy day, what I've read is that you would get somebody in, come in on a Saturday, you have lunch, because you always have to have free lunch. You would come in on Saturday, you would spend a day, and you would just ideas. You would have mind maps, you would have diagrams, you would just have a day of all your ideas that you want to do, and then the person you would work with, I don't know, this is what I've just read, is the person would then go away with all your ideas, come back and say, this isn't feasible, this is feasible,
Yeah.
how do you want to
that's
get
fine.
forward?
With seeing that I'm perfectly happy with it as such.
It's still not.
Sure.
I don't know. I'm still not particularly clear about the costings
Yeah.
for this. There seems to be a lot of what ifs. I think we need to be clearer about, because there's a lot of money involved in this. So we need to be much clearer about how many days we're actually going to be, and I guess that's a difficult one with strategy, is that we don't know how long it will take, but we can't have an open-ended costing on this. We need to have some boundaries on time and cost, and I just don't see it at the moment from this.
Is there a way that we appoint on the basis that we decide the length and the structure of it at a later date? Because that's.
I think
Is there a way
when
to
we
do
have
that?
to, when we commit in stages where we say, initially we just commit to the strategy day where we have a brainstorming day where we look at what we do and don't want. We may decide from that we're in a position to form our own strategy. We might from that find that we're all in complete agreement of what our strategy should be, and we don't need to spend a fortune having somebody else just write that out for us. we might find that we need that expert to then to take that to the next level for us. But
I think we should do that first. Come up with our idea.
Well, I thought the process seemed quite good because, before, rather than everybody turn up with other ideas, there's some preparation done before through this questionnaire.
Yeah.
Then you've got the day. But then I understand, that we might want to.
So blending Sean's concern there with my concern effectively was that, will things be done? Effectively, can we do it in a sort of staged approval methodology where we agree, like you say, to look a day and then see what comes as a result of that to then approve the next stage and the next stage as such.
Rather than...
Yeah, and my other comment would be is that while we might appoint a locum who's entirely capable of hosting and doing that with lots of experience with us, if that is the case, this feels like it would be great to have an umbrella-like view of that situation with more parties feeding into it and not wanting to draw any attention away from other activities that were there. So I'd probably say that going with any company that can provide the service externally and parachute in to assist us with that would be really helpful, along with the locum who we appoint there as well, because it's more people around the table to provide that advice.
Yeah, sure.
just I agree with what Tim's saying. I think two things. One, assuming we follow this through its natural conclusion here, what is the total cost? Do we have a total on that? Secondly,
well, I did some admin for it.
sorry, am I making the work than I should? Secondly, obviously we need to be very aware that we are a council, so with any strategy it has to fall within certain constraints of what a council is and what a council function is and isn't. And so it's important that whoever's doing this is aware of those boundaries, exactly what council is and what it isn't.
Yeah.
Because otherwise we could have a strategy that's amazing but completely outside the scope of a town council.
And I think we keep that limit, wouldn't we?
So,
I was going to say, so I'm assuming the strategy people would know the limits of a
well, that's what I'm asking. What's their...
This will, it will be Peter.
Okay, that's fine. As long as that...
Which also just raises the issue though, if it was going to be CS, is there a potential conflict of interest there? Have we gone to enough people?
We went out to 4 people.
Four people. Do we have the 4 reports though?
No, only 1 came back.
So
right, okay.
Can
but
I
then means we have to get to more people.
No,
on this
this
check.
is 5.
So we've got one person that's going to willing to help us with the strategy, and by chance that is someone who is potentially someone we could have as a locum. Is that right?
Yes and
Yeah.
no.
Yes and no. Okay. So what's the
I will explain
So,
later.
so are we going for this in a practical way?
But it
We're
might
following
not
this
be-
agenda in a long sequence then?
No, because this isn't confidential.
Okay.
It might not be Peter, but it's that company. It
I
may
see,
be
okay,
someone
okay,
else.
that's fine.
So,
And we can request that, I suppose, and ask for that. Yeah.
so what exactly do we need to decide at this moment?
If you want
To go with this.
to go, I would suggest going with 1, 2 and 3, doing a questionnaire first, doing your ideas first. They then can do the preparation for your vision day, or your strategy day, and then you would need a report. 1, 2 and 3 is 2,400.
Okay.
Can I suggest and propose that is the suggested course today, that we vote on that, because, and anyone would second it. The reason that I would back that is that we are aware we need a strategy. We've done a year. We didn't take on the council with a strategy necessarily that was up to date or clear or anything else like that. An achievement of whatever the circumstances are now of a strategy at some point, regardless of the nature of the council or anything else like that, would be a huge achievement. And to then build on that with whatever then comes after it would set us in good stead for the next 2 years of this term.
Okay. I'll second that.
Okay.
1, 2 and 3.
Right, so propose we go with this to 1, 2
Go
and
with
3.
Is that all
Seconded.
voting?
Are we voting? Show of hands.
Yeah.
1, 2, yeah,
So we've got
Okay.
carried that. Okay.
okay. Approved. 1, 2 and 3, date to set.
Right, okay. That's good then. So strategy day. Right, so moving on to item 7, roller discos proposal for roller disco sessions to be held in the Solar Centre, the first of which we held in June. We were sent details on that. It just seems to me that it would be the community trust, but we don't want to do as a town council.
No, this is not a grant. We can't give grants to companies anyway. This is something that was discussed in the past. This is something, it's an idea, it's a suggestion. You have £10,000 in your youth budget. You haven't got any ideas as yet on what to spend on your youth budget. So this was just an idea to tap into the youth market and use a bit of your budget from that.
Sure. And I think you're dead right that this is exactly the sort of thing that the community trust was set up to do, obviously.
Yeah.
And if this firm or any other firm were to approach us, we would probably direct them to the community trust, who would be able to help them run such events. Obviously, the community trust manage the suggested building, not the town council. And that's exactly what the community trust does. And I did look into this, and this firm, which seems to have been chosen to be sort of roller disco, so they got quite a large start-up grant to run the roller disco in Froome from the town council.
Right.
So I would suggest to that firm, if they wanted to do it, or if anybody in the community wanted to do it, approach the community trust, and then it would be perfectly within the community trust's remit then to either use their available resources or come to council. And then the last thing I would say is it's also questionable whether or not it has to be subsidised to that extent, because I mean, I think Froome were charging £5 or £6 a session, so was it necessary for us to get the price down to £3? But it should be clear to anybody in the community really, if you want to run a bullet disco, which is a great idea, we should kind of do it with our assistance rather than the town council necessarily becoming a roller disco facility.
Yeah,
So-
sure.
Yeah, so I mean, first of all, yes, I mean, this isn't the function of council to arrange roller discos. So, as far as the town council is concerned, it's not a council function. If I agree that if they want to discuss, if the community trust, who are responsible for dealing with things like that, want to bring forward a proposal, and it's a proposal that contains costs and numbers of benefits and all of those factors, we can consider it like with any other grant process. But it needs to be justified by that. Also, how much of it they need to decide if it can be self-financing, because a lot of these things are self-financing. I'm concerned that there's talk about using the youth provision for it. That I certainly didn't think when we put £10,000 in the budget for additional youth provision that it would be to produce a roller disco. I would say it would, if Youth Connect were to come forward and say this is something that we'd like to work with, then of course we can look at that 10,000. But that we need to be cautious about that 10,000 provision. It's there for a very serious reason, to improve our youth services.
Yeah.
So I think this has to go.
Sure. Let's go to community trust.
Yeah.
Tim?
I would entirely agree, and that Sean's comment there about the youth provision budget and the appropriateness of this towards that is fantastic, and it would benefit lots and lots of the opportunity would benefit a lot of people. But this is it could be like a really good family thing aside from anything else. And like, yes, it'd be great to start that and have it there, but it's got to go through the right routes, and we're not the right people to host it. And I'd love it if we could produce a grant to support it and get our name against that in an altruistic way. But yes, I'm comfortable with
Right, so I think the decision is to sort of pass the details on to community trust and see if they'd be interested
They've got them anyway.
in organising this, yeah? Okay, so we're
Can we
it's a great idea.
say something like to the community trust that we want to say we want to support this?
Yeah.
Is there a way of doing that and either targeted as a youth thing in conjunction with other organisations as well as
Well, you tell your
To have 4 councillors.
you've got your councillors that are on the community trust.
yeah.
So
that's
no,
I thought you joined the community trust.
no.
so yeah. Can we sort of say that that's a really good idea that we would entertain a proposal coming forward from that as soon as possible?
Promote it with the trust.
Yeah, because it's for June they've requested, isn't it?
Yeah, that's quite
It
significant.
seems that won't happen and it'd be a bit.
Maybe the community trust have the money to fund it already, and they can back if they see it's a successful trial event.
Yeah, no, I'm just
They could-
interested to know, does that now then go on your agenda for community trust?
Absolutely. If you want. But then normally what the community trust do, so I've got
Go on.
they'll normally help organisations. So usually a community organisation, might be NCT, might be We Love Roller Discos. They'll usually approach the community trust, and then the community trust can help them by giving them, licensed premises, insured premises, and help them through the process and quite often through a couple of volunteers in and say we've got some premises to skate in. It could be the town hall, when it's opening, it could be the orchard hall, it could be the summer centre. So the first thing is normally just approach the community trust and do the best generally.
Yeah.
So do then the community trust have to come back to full council to tell us what's happened?
Not really, only if they ask for money. Extra
Yeah,
money.
I think maybe suggestions we made that do a trial event because it's not huge money, just for one-off visit and then see what the appetite is and then come to us for further.
Because if we don't grease the wheels, so to speak, of the discount, they just bog off and go elsewhere.
But I think we can do, because what we can do, the community trust, we can give them the premises cheap though. And
Yeah.
then the community trust, because it's got partner extensive to the council, it can technically ask an extra grant to start it up. So lots of things it can do, but what the community trust will do is manage the booking, manage the book, manage the promotion.
So
Yeah,
there needs to be a business case.
Exactly that, because
I mean-
we've got to see a trial event and then
Yeah.
how it tapers out of not funding it.
If we're benefiting people, children that perhaps couldn't afford to do this thing on their own, and there's sufficient numbers of them, then there's a business case for a grant.
Yeah.
If it's just a commercial roller disco,
Yeah.
then good luck.
Yeah.
But it's not something that we should be funding
Yeah.
as a council.
As a council, yeah. Okay, good. So,
The only final thing I'd say as well, the community trust is a good vehicle because anyone in this council or in the community can put a few volunteer hours in to actually make these things happen at a price which is acceptable. And if they get wings, they might be taken on to be more sustainable. So that's how most community trust projects work, like NCTs, like Dream Weaver, all these different
yeah.
organisations.
Okay,
No, I
brilliant.
get
So,
all of those. I just wonder
so-
what is the next step for that request?
Projects.
Who?
What?
Me approach us?
Yeah,
or
absolutely.
they-
Good ads or us and they'll take
No,
it.
that's what I don't
Yeah,
understand.
yeah.
We're sort of saying we're not doing it.
if
here.
Alex has
How
got,
does
if
it
we
get
go
to-
to the
Just
community
go to
trust and
trust.
they've got the contact details, then they'll get in touch and then
Book the room out.
help them to
Who?
deliver it.
Alex.
I forward that to Alex now.
Generally, yeah. Alex is
So that wouldn't have gone anywhere had I not asked you how does that get to community trust?
Which-
Or has
Well, I think
it-
Kate, we'd instruct Kate to.
All right, okay, no, I'm not being
Yeah.
facetious, I just don't
Yeah, yeah,
understand.
yeah.
So I do think it's a good idea.
That's a wonderful idea. I think we're all.
But I
that's a good
don't
idea.
understand where it sort of floats around then.
Yeah.
No,
Oh, it's
just,
Bristol, it's a great plan.
just email them.
Okay,
The best thing is
that's
email
good.
them Community Trust, manager of Community Trust.
Okay. So, move on to item 8. That's the West Local Bus Service. West Local £2 million fund set up by the West of England Mayoral Combined Authority. It aims to help communities design and run local bus services to their specific needs. A webinar was available Tuesday 7th of May for councillors to listen to. Do we wish to engage with this initiative?
Yes.
West Local. Yes?
No brainer.
Yeah.
So there was already a scheme
No.
that Portland Council
Yeah.
set up.
Yes.
It's proved to be very successful.
Yeah.
I mean, there's basically, we've got a lot of issue with buses. The council cut all the subsidies for all the rural bus services after the last election. There's been ridiculous arguments between Baines Council and all the various, the four in the authority,
Yeah.
about who's to blame for the failure of the bus services. But we're in the middle of bus failure. This scheme allows councils to design a small bus service to suit their local community, specifically to suit the issues of their local community. Portland have done theirs and it works very well. They have a bus service running. It runs. They've got one that runs from Radstock to Odddown Park and Ride 5 times a day. We have certain black spots in Midsummer and Autumn when it comes to buses. We have areas like Welton, where if you live anywhere in Welton, it's very difficult to get a bus out of Welton, even to get to Tesco or to get to the high street. It's because of the topography, it's not easy to walk from Welton to the high street because it involves going over a hill. So if we could look at engaging with it to either connect into the bus service that Portland have done or our own, that was circular, that allows all our community to at least arrive at Tesco or to arrive at the centre of Midsummer and Autumn,
Connect to.
I think it's worthwhile looking at.
Yeah. What would we do then?
No idea. I will contact West Local. You may need to set up. I don't know anything about it, so I didn't listen in. I will contact West Local. You may need to set up a working party. I know you don't want to, but you may need to set up a working party just to do it because I don't know anything.
Figure out what sort of route we would need.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, there is an expression of interest form, and I think that's how you do it,
Right.
and then you can go with your ideas.
Is that
I'm
on
not-
the West Local website?
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure the remits, because another thing to be mentioned is more holistically, because I meant, did everyone get the email I sent about community transport?
Yeah.
So I did the training on it. but how not only can we provide these services, we can actually allow community groups to get involved, which is a lot of community groups that require transport in various places, whether it's sports groups or children's groups. So sometimes shared use of facilities like buses can help.
This is
Okay, that's good.
this is separate from the Diner Ride and Swan and that.
Could there be a crossover?
But yeah, but it's designed to fill the gap of the regular scheduled bus services rather than the Diner Ride model, which is a different game altogether.
Okay, thank you.
Just quickly then, are people willing to take that forward and actually put a bit of effort into it?
Yeah.
If it's going to be private,
I think rather than invent the wheel, I suspect our best option would be to talk to Poulton.
Yeah.
And we would, if we talk to Liz Hardman and Grant Johnson at Poulton.
They did. I think it was Porton. They wanted to come in and do a tour
Yeah.
at the last meeting, but he cancelled at the last
That was
minute.
France.
I said not tonight because obviously we've got the two meetings and it was got complicated. I can get back in contact with him and maybe bring him to the June meeting.
Yeah.
Or do you want?
No, whatever suits. I think, yes, let's not reinvent the wheel. They've done all the hard work at Poulton.
Right, I'll see if he's available.
If you need me to contact, they're both Baines Council, if you need any help, let me know.
Yeah, I'll see if I can find the email first.
I can give you okay.
I'll have it somewhere.
Right, you're up.
I'm not.
99.
99. Town Council is now able to co-opt work following his exit from Alan Pugh because there were no requests for by-election. Obviously, another formal notice will go up in the next few days for Cheryl. So we are now 3 down. We were going to co-opt tonight, but the person that was interested was on holiday. So I've spoken to them, and we've pushed it back to June. The grant applications are coming in quite thick and fast. No, that's something else. Grant applications. This told me I didn't write this. Grant applications. Oh yes. The grant applications, which you will consider in July, you have are coming in quite quickly now. You will, I think, in July you will just have a separate grant meeting, either finance or full council will decide nearer the time, because some of them you have to some of them you have to say no, some you won't get the full. There's a lot because not everybody will get everything. Because you only have a pot of £10,000, so you've got to make some serious decisions.
Okay.
There's work going on at Willowbrook. There's Himalayan balsam being removed. There's various work going on at Willowbrook. Town Hall update. This is why I asked for a working party. It is coming in thick and fast. The welfare unit is gone. They're now using the assembly rooms. There's new guttering. There's new electrics. It's coming in thick and fast. They're on second and third fix. I don't know what that is. Because the deadline now is end of July, beginning of August, 3 months. You've got all the very quick stuff, so we would need some very quick decisions on various things. Office administrator, since we made it permanent, again, they're coming in. There's a lot. And deadline for that is the end of May. D-Day commemorations, 6th of June, very, very low key. The Royal British Legion are doing a little service. There's no parade, little service. The schools have been invited, but I don't think anyone's replied. May Day celebrations, looking at the photos, it was very well attended, colourful. I don't think everybody enjoyed themselves. I wasn't there, but it's getting there. Some of the photographs. Investigation is obviously going to be talked about later. Town Trust, you had a Town Trust meeting. CCTV, I think that's all Town Trust stuff. There's work going on in the town park. And the conservation has obviously sort of given us a little schedule of work that they're doing in the town park. That's it.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
No.
Any issues out there? Right, item number 10, correspondence received, May bulletin from the Royal British Legion, which was forwarded. And then item 11, exclusion of the press and public. Proposal in section 1, paragraph 2 of the Public Bodies and Mission to Meetings Act 1960, the press and public excluded from the meeting for following items of business because publicity will be prejudicial to the public interest by reason of the confidential nature of business to be transacted. So unfortunately, we're going to have to leave it.
the end of the
That's the end of the public
Yes.
meeting, yes.
Totally. You're not doing anything else after.
We are
No, we just, it's basically, we've got a couple of financial decisions to make,
Yeah.
and that'll be the end of it.
Yeah. Okay.
But,
Right. Thank you for the tea.
Thank you. We've had everyone, hasn't it?
yeah,
Thanks,
thanks.
Mandy.
See you soon.
Yeah.
Because you might have noticed there's a few spare spots going in the council 2 months ago.
Yeah.
Need to turn the camera off as well.
Yes, bye.
Thanks, Andy.
Bye.